The hall of trials hung above a pale world like a crown of glass and metal, and within it, observers from many worlds watched in careful silence as candidates were brought forward for the final measure of worth endurance without technology. This was the rule, spoken in many tongues and translated into gestures, lights, and colors, yet the meaning was simple: survive, adapt, and do so with nothing but body, mind, and whatever the ground offered. Among the candidates stood a human named Tom Plain, a face average of build and calm in posture. His hands were empty, his clothes simple fibers with no tools hidden, no enhancements humming beneath the skin. The watchers had learned to scan for such tricks and found none. Some of them dismissed him already, for humans were known for machines and networks, not for patience or ritual endurance. Chamber opened and the floor changed, becoming raw stone, soil, and scattered debris shaped by ancient pressure and heat. A low sun burned across the space, casting long shadows. Heat rose and fell in waves. The test would last many cycles, and the rules were enforced by watchers who would not intervene. The signal, all candidates were stripped of remaining aids and sent into separate zones. Tom found himself alone with stone wind and the sound of his own breath. He did not look to the sky for help, nor to the walls for mercy. He knelt and touched the ground as if greeting an old friend. The observers leaned closer as the human moved with purpose, not panic. His eyes scanned shapes, textures, edges. He chose two stones, one dense and sharp-edged, another broad and firm. He tested weight, balance, sound, then struck with controlled force. Flakes flew clean and thin. A rhythm formed. Strike, turn. Strike, turn. Within moments, a crude blade emerged, its edge keen enough to cut fiber and skin alike. Murmur rippled through the hall as timers marked the act. Less than a minute and a half had passed when Tom held up a stone knife shaped by intent. Rather than chance, he wrapped the base with twisted grass for grip and tested it on a leaf which parted cleanly. The test was not about weapons yet. Weapons were answers to many problems, and the watchers could not deny the clarity of the act. Other candidates still searched or argued with the ground. Tom had already prepared. Heat intensified, and the wind carried grit. He used the blade to cut shade branches and to scrape bark for cord. He fashioned a shelter low and angled. He conserved movement. And water, when night came cold, followed, and he fed a small fire born from friction, patience, and dry tinder sparks caught, and the flame lived. Ease passed, measured by light and shadow. Tom endured hunger with planning. He trapped small creatures using stone and fiber. He used every part: meat for strength, hide for warmth, bone for needles. He mended tears and sharpened edges. He rested when needed and watched when not. The observers debated among themselves. Some argued that this was luck, others that the rules favored brutality, yet data told a different story: efficiency, creativity, calm under pressure. These were traits, not accidents. The human displayed them without drama, as if this world were a familiar puzzle. When storms came, Tom adjusted his shelter. When predators circled, he deterred without waste. When illness threatened, he brewed bitter teas from leaves tested carefully on skin and tongue. He survived not by dominance but by conversation with the land. At last the signal sounded, and the chamber walls returned, the floor smoothed. The sun dimmed. Tom stood thin, tired yet steady, the stone knife still at his side, worn smooth by use. The council spoke the result in shared silence. Then, in sound, the human had passed, not by endurance alone but by understanding. The watchers recorded the moment when a simple act revealed a deep truth: that intelligence was not bound to circuits, nor courage to armor. As Tom left the hall, he did not boast. He nodded once to the sky and to the ground, then walked forward, carrying nothing but the knowledge that even without technology, humanity endured.